Alright, so here I have my hair already separated and prepped. I usually buy the Afro bulk hair that is 6 inches because I feel like it gives me more flexibility. So here I've prepped it some more, but it's still not done, and I'm going to show you how I do that. I do this just to give myself a basis so I can see what I'm working with and to already have the hair prepped. It's a step that I like to do that makes it go faster for me. Alright, so first I start with my 6-inch Afro bulk hair, and I'm just going to separate it into different sections depending on the size. I'm making small locks, so I'm getting smaller sections, and because she wanted, I believe this was 6 inches, I went ahead and got 2 pieces and I connected them together to begin with. Now I'm going to round off what's going to be my end, and I'm just going to go through and really vaguely go through and use the needle to form the hair, but not actually make the lock yet. I'm just forming the hair to give myself a step ahead when I'm actually in the mode of making the locks. So this is just me prepping the hair, and as you can see, I'm just pulling my needle in and out of the hair to try and form it, to give it that round shape before I start actually making them. It's important to note that they are not tight at all. This is super loose, like almost spongy, because I'm not trying to make them tight at this point. This is just me going through and setting up the foundation for the lock that I'm going to make. I'm going to go back in and tighten them. I usually don't do this until I'm done with all of my formations. When I explain how to do loc extensions hands-on, I find myself explaining it a different way. And an analogy that I like to use is a vase. If you're packing a vase full of cotton balls, because that's the shape you're trying to get the lock to be, a cylindrical, round shape. So if you're packing a vase with cotton balls, you're not going to pack the vase from the top. You're not going to pack the vase from the side. You're going to pack it from the bottom. You're going to try to make sure that everything at the bottom is super packed before you add some more. Once the more that you add is super packed, and you add some more. That's pretty much what you're doing with the loc extension, just with a different tool and a different material. So it's a different process, but that's the analogy that I like to use to explain what I mean by packing the lock. And now here's the finished product of the locks that I made. They are much firmer than the base that I started with. They are ready to install in my client's hair. And I'm going to show you guys in a different light so you can kind of see the texture a little bit better. This color is dark auburn. Now this is her hair, and as I said in the beginning, she has an undercut, but we're going to make it full enough at the top with respects to the part to lock ratio, making sure it's not too thin. We're going to make it full enough at the top to cover her undercut. And she has very thick hair, so that won't be a problem at all. And what I'd like to do first is I go through and I part the hair. I part the hair to make sure that the number of locks that we're attempting to put up there will fit in terms of the hair, the space, the scalp space, and the density of the hair will fit the size of the locks that we're trying to fit in this area. and they do. So I start installing, and how I start installing the hair is I start at the where the lock extension loose hair meets the mature, quote unquote, mature part of the lock extension. And I started attaching there first because I feel like there, the transition happens there. So that is the most important part for me, because without that being secure, your locks can thin out. Several other different things can happen. And not to mention that if that part looks funky, it's really not blending. There's no point in you having gotten lock extensions at this point because it's not blending. It looks crazy. So you want it to blend, especially when you're working with different colors. Her hair is black, the hair is dark auburn. So we want it to blend as seamlessly as possible. So that's really why I start there. And once I get it where I want it there, I get it to look how I want it to look. Now I work my way back up to the root. And as I've stated before in previous instruction videos, I am super deliberate, which you should be too if you do this, super deliberate about where you're pulling hair to, why you're pulling hair to this area, and what is it going to do to the lock that you're trying to form. Is it going to make it flat? If you stay on one side, you just keep pulling, it's going to be flat. So you have to go in all directions, and this is not just 1, 2, 3, 4 north, south, east, west. This is more than that. You're going in so as many directions as you can, because you want the lock to be round, and you also want to know that you're pulling hairs in so many different directions that the lock will be secure. As I am attaching the lock, I like to twist the hair in to the right and keep on attaching, and then twist it to the left and keep on attaching. This is to make sure that the lock is not pulling from one side more than the other, because that actually happens with natural locks too. If you're retwisting in only one dramatic direction, then your locks are going to pull from that direction. So if you're retwisting down only, you're not trying to center that lock to that part, then when you do ponytails, it's going to pull from the bottom of the lock. Or if you're doing it at the top, when you let it down, it's going to pull from the top of the lock. So you want to center the lock with the part. This is even with natural locks. You want to do that. And here's what it looks like when I am done attaching it. And here's the first row. And these locks, by the way, are super lightweight. They're heavy when you wash them, yes, but they are super, super lightweight. They're not gonna pull your hair, or they're not gonna damage your natural hair by pulling on it or thinning it. So it's important to think about that when you are deciding between the wrap lock extensions or the instant lock extensions. I'm going to go ahead and attach another one to show you guys once again how I attach it. While I do that, I'm going to just give you some tips on when deciding to get lock extensions. First, you would need to decide on a method. When you do, if you decide to do instant locks, or if you decide to do the wrapping method, you need to consider your hair, the health of your hair. If your hair is not healthy, a lot of people don't like to hear that their hair is not healthy, but if it's not healthy, lock extensions won't help you. Your hair has to be in a good state. Locks is not my hair is going to hell, so let me get locks. That's not how that works. Your hair still has to be healthy to have a nice set of locks. And you can, if your hair is not healthy and you still want to start locks, I suggest starting without any extensions. I suggest, if you're trying to get your hair back to a good optimal state, I suggest starting with your natural hair. Anything extra on top of something that's already not healthy, that's just common sense. But a lot of stylists won't tell you that because it's about the money. I always tell people it's not about the money for me. All money is not good money. I will not mess up your hair for money. Yes, when considering loc extensions or wrapped locks, consider that wrapped locks are not going to give you the same texture as instant loc extensions. They're great, however, if you want not permanent, but temporary loc extensions. They are great. And consider that wrap locks are heavier than instant loc extensions, and they're not able to achieve the same styles or textures. And by this I mean curls, crinkles, certain things like that. And it may still achieve it, but it won't look as close to natural locks as it could.
Like a hurricane, I'ma do it like nobody can, and I'll give you all the things that nobody can. I'ma make you bounce like a hurricane, I'ma make your bed rock like a hurricane. I'ma do it like nobody can, and I'll give you all the things that nobody can. Hurricane, yeah, I want to meet you.
Here's the finished product here. As you can see, it's full enough to cover her undercut, but not too full to where it's overwhelming. She wanted 2-strand twists, and that's the style that we achieved here. And by the way, this was freehand parting. This wasn't a grid pattern or anything like that. She wanted freehand parting. And yeah, she loved her hair. I loved her hair. I loved the color. And here are some photos just to recap this installment. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more loc extension videos. I have more coming, more videos on how to make the locks and attach them. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will try my best to answer. Until next time, follow me on Instagram, Dxlynlocs. Bye guys.